Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make the 3D shell stitch. Isn't that cool? It's so poofy. Makes great blankets and scarves. It's just poofy and squishy and makes great everything. So this is what it looks like. It's three-dimensional. It's very easy 2-row repeat. If you can do a double and a single, you'll be able to do this, and it does look the same on both sides. So looking the same on both sides, and it's only a 2-row repeat. Super simple to do. What more could we ask for? Nothing, I don't think. I like it that it's just so interesting looking and so poofy. So you guys want to go ahead and get started? 3D shells. Let's do it. Okay, so the yarn that you just saw for that stitch tutorial is a Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. It is a medium weight number 4. 100% acrylic. The color that I used was called Deep Teal. Now you can use any yarn, any weight, and any color that you'd like, depending on what project that you're doing. And for the purpose of this stitch tutorial, I am using a J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Also, which would depend on what yarn weight you're using. So the 3D shell stitch is done in a multiple of 6 plus 2. Which means that your beginning chain needs to be evenly divisible by 6. You make it in sixes, like 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on, for however long you want your project, depending on what you're making. And then you add 2 more chains to your base chain. So 6 plus 2. Now once you get your multiple of 6 plus 2, we'll go ahead and start row 1 by doing a single crochet in the second stitch from our hook. Now remember, we don't count the one that's on our hook. So here's 1 and 2. Go into that second stitch and do a single crochet. Now we're going to work along our chain, and we're going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. So row 1 is 1 single in every stitch until we get to the end of our row. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start row 2. There's row 1. We are going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It doesn't count as anything. So we're going to work right back here into the very first stitch here. And we're going to work a single crochet. And now we're going to start the repeat of row 2. We're going to skip 2 stitches, skip, and we're going to work a shell into the next stitch. Now every time we work a shell, it is worked in the back loop only. That's what gives it the 3D pop, the 3D dimensional effect. Only the shells are worked in the back loop. Now the shell for this particular pattern is 7 double crochets in the same stitch. So we're going to skip our 2, skip, and in the next one you'll see right here, there are 2 loops. The one closest to you is the front loop, and the one furthest away is the back loop. So you skip your 2 and you go in the back loop of the next stitch, and we're going to work 7 double crochets all into the back loop of that stitch. So there's 1, 2. You can see we're only going into 1 loop. 3, 4, 5, there's 6, and there is 7. So that completes that shell. Now we are going to skip 2 again, skip, and in the next one we do a single crochet, but that is worked through both loops. Only the shell is worked in the back loop, just like that. And that is the repeat pattern for row 2. So again, we'll skip 2 stitches, skip, and then the next one we work a shell in the back loop only. So 7 double crochets through that 1 back loop will make our shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one more makes 7. And then we're going to skip 2, so skip, skip, and single crochet into the next. So we're going to repeat this pattern that we're doing until we get to the last 3 stitches of our row. Alright, so I've made it to the last 3 stitches of row 2. You should have had a shell here, and then you have 3 stitches that remain. Just go ahead and skip 2 and single crochet into the last, and that will end row 2. And then we'll go ahead and start row 3. Now rows 3 and 4 are the repeat rows for the whole entire pattern. So we are going to chain 1 for row 3 and turn our work. So that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to start off here this time by working a half of a shell. There's a half of a shell that goes at the beginning and a half of a shell that goes at the end. And the half a shell is 3 double crochets. But remember, we always work our shells in the back loop. So this very first one has to go in this very first stitch here, but the back loop of it. We're going to work 3 double crochets. The hardest one, first one is always the hardest. Go in that back loop and do a double crochet, and we need to do 3. So that was 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Now what we're going to do is we are going to find the middle stitch of this shell, which is the 4th stitch of the shell. So we're going to skip 3 of these double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And the next one will be the middle stitch. We're just going to put a single crochet through both loops. Just like that. And then we are starting the repeat. We're skipping 3 double crochets at the shell. Excuse me. And down here in the single crochet from the previous row is where we are going to work our next shell. We're going to work it in the back loop though of that single crochet. So skip all these doubles and the single down here. Back loop of it, we're going to work a full shell, 7 double crochets into that single crochet of the back loop of it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there is 7. And now you can kind of see your shell starting to be 3D. It'll take a few rows and then you'll start to see it a lot more. So we're going to repeat that again. We're going to skip these 3 double crochets of the next shell, 1, 2, 3, and in the middle one, which is the 4th, we're going to do a single crochet through both loops. And then we're going to skip the next 3 double crochets of the same shell, and down here in this single crochet, working in the back loop, we're going to do another shell. So back loop, 7 double crochets into that single. Like that. And repeat again. Come over here to the next shell, skip 3 doubles of it, 1, 2, 3, and the next one, the 4th one, is the middle. Go through both loops and single crochet, and then again you skip 3 doubles of the same shell and you'll be down here at this single crochet, and in the back loop of it we work a 7 double crochets to create our shell. Now we're going to repeat this pattern until we are near the end of the row, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 3, and I just did a single crochet in the middle of my last shell here. Now what I'm going to do is this single crochet here on the end, I'm going to work 3 double crochets in the back loop of it. That will be the half shell on this end. There's 1, 2, and there's 3, and that will end row 3. And that's what it starts to look like. See it popping out. Now we're going to go ahead and start row 4, which is the final repeat row. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so this is very similar to row 2. But what we are going to do now is we're going to start off with a single crochet right here into this very first stitch. Right there. Like that. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches, so we're skipping these 2 double crochets right here, and the next stitch you'll see is a single crochet from the previous row. We need to do a shell into that, working in the back loop of it. So 7 double crochets into this single. That, and then again we are going to skip 3 doubles of the shell until we get to the 4th one, which will be the middle. So 1, 2, 3, and right here is the middle double crochet. We go through both loops of that one and single crochet, and then you skip these 3 doubles of the same shell, and you'll be down here at this single crochet. And in that single crochet, the back loop of it, we're going to work 7 double crochets. And this is what we're going to repeat until we get to the end of the row. 1, 2, 3. There's 7. Again, the next shell, we skip the first 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, and in the next one, which is the 4th one and the middle one, we go through both loops and single crochet, and then we skip the next 3 double crochets of the same shell, 1, 2, 3, and you'll be down here at a single, and we work our shell in the back loop only of this single crochet. So 7 double crochets in the back loop. So I'm going to repeat this pattern that we're doing, which you can see is very similar to what we have been doing, until I get near the end of the row, and I'll meet back up with you. You see what it starts to look like there. Now they're popping out. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 4, and I just did a shell and I have 3 stitches that remain. You can see from the previous row. I'm going to skip 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to put a single crochet into my last stitch. And that's how you end row 4, and that ends the repeat. So you would just keep repeating rows 3 and 4. That is so pretty, until you get to your desired size. And after a few repeats, it starts to look like this. Really, really cool. Really 3-dimensional. I think it's awesome. Nice thick fabric. It's poofy. It's poofy. Great for blankets, baby blankets, because, you know, it's, like I said, it's so poofy. So I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to look in the description box. I got links to Facebook and Instagram. You can come show me, if you make something out of this, come show me what you made. There's also a playlist right at the very top with over 1,000 crochet tutorials. They're all free. They're for you to enjoy. So that's it. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye, guys.